use, abuse and addiction to drugs. Drug use is a serious problem. Understanding the consequences of substance abuse can be the first step in trying to solve it. There are many differences between drug use, abuse and addiction. People tend to use these terms synonymously, but knowing what they really mean can help you identify them. Look at the bigger picture. This is important because drug use is becoming one of the most pressing problems of our time. An entire generation of young people is at risk. Studies show that patterns of substance use change over time. In the 80s and 90s, heroin was the drug of choice. Nowadays, there are new substances on the market. The most popular common are now synthetic drugs. Alcohol and tobacco are still consumed in greater style than the rest of the chemical substances on the market. In the illegal category of drugs, we have cannabis and cannabis products. Cocaine use among young people is also increasing. Below we will talk about the differences between use, abuse and addiction to drugs. What does the DSM say about the use of drugs? One of the most important standards for diagnosis today is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM, from the American Psychiatric Association. The DSM serves as a reference for establishing the differences between use, abuse and dependence of substances. In the DSM-4, addiction was defined as a mild or early phase of substance use. Addiction, on the other hand, was a more serious manifestation of the same characteristic. In practice and for certain cases, the diagnostic criteria for abuse were quite severe. This is why the categories of use and dependence were combined into a disorder called substance use disorder, SUD in DSM-5. Here are the diagnostic criteria. Consuming large quantities of the substance or consuming it for a longer period of time than expected. Repeated, unsuccessful attempt to stop or regulate consumption. A significant amount of time spent obtaining the drug, using it, or recovering from intoxication. Intense desire to use the drug. Repeated use gets in the way of academic, work or domestic responsibilities. And continuous use despite recurring problems at home or at work, caused or exacerbated by drug use. Less involvement in social and work activities due to substance use or complete cessation. Continued and repeated use, even in those situations that may cause physical harm. Tolerance. Abstinences. This is the most up-to-date definition of the problems that substance use disorder causes. But what are the differences between use, abuse and addiction to drugs?